to another jewelry making video brought to you by keepsakecrafts.net. Today we're going to make this rather funky necklace using stick pearls and multiple strands of wire. So for today's project, I'm not going to give you an exact list of materials because this is more of a technique that I'll be teaching you than a specific recipe for a project. But I've had these stick pearls in my stash for quite some time and was just waiting for the right design idea to come along to use them. To complement them, I have these little pearls from House of Gems, some 4mm Swarovski crystal bicones in clear, and then also to contrast all the shiny, these lava beads. When you choose your beads, you will need to want to have at least one type of beads that will be able to have 2 strands of wire go through it. I'm using 3 15-inch strands of bead stringing wire, and this is a colored wire that will actually show in the project. You can find wire in many colors, so find one that suits what you've chosen for beads. And then you'll also need some findings, and I'll talk more about those as we get to that in the project. So the first thing I want to do is show you the technique, and I'm going to do that by stringing on just our beads that connect our wires. And then you'll hopefully understand better how it all works. So take 2 of your wires and string one of your beads onto 2 of them. Now take one of those wires and the remaining wire and string another bead onto those 2. Now take a wire on one side and combine it with a wire that it wasn't previously connected to. And string a bead on those 2. And the same over here. These 2 are coming out of this one, so I'll take one of these. That wasn't going through a bead. And now you kind of get an idea of the pattern. That we have the beads with these spaces in between. And actually this is a very pretty design all by itself. But what we are going to do is add some of our other beads in each space. Like that. And then add some of the crystals and some of these in those spaces. I just did this so that you would understand how the pattern worked, because it's a little confusing when you start looking at it. So now I'm going to have to pull off all but one of these lava beads. Just string your set of beads on each of these 4 pieces. Okay, so I've done that so you can see what I mean. I've got 2 strands going through the black bead, so I've got 2 pieces coming out on the left and 2 on the right, and I've strung an assortment, just a random assortment of beads on each of those. Each strand has at least one of my stick pearls surrounded by just a random assortment of the other beads. Now if you want to, you could cover this wire with beads. You'd use a lot more beads, but you could cover it and fill the space with beads. So now we're going to pull out another lava bead and our other piece of wire. Thread the wire onto the bead and then pick any one of these wires here and thread that onto the black bead as well. Now take that wire you just added, add another bead to it, and then also add the wire that's been neglected. The 3rd one. And now you can kind of see how you get this weaving effect. So let me do the other side, but before I can do that I need to string some beads in here, because if I add a black bead now I'm going to end up with an empty space. So if you ever find you have an empty space, just pull off your black bead and throw on some of your stick pearls and other beads. And these stick pearls often have a right side and a wrong side, so make sure you pay attention to how it's going to end up on the necklace. Okay, so this is the 3rd strand, the new one that we added. If you want, you could try to keep them in order, top, middle, bottom. So we'll call this the bottom strand, the last one we added. And now I'm going to slide a black bead onto that, and then pick either one of either the top or the middle. So you can see how you get this really just interesting look. And as you wear the necklace, things will move around. Now we have one last strand that we haven't added a second black bead to this end, so we'll add that. And really either one of these two. I hope you don't find that too confusing. It's kind of meant to look braided and woven together. Now look over here. I added this bead but didn't add any beads in between, and the same over here. So it's up to you. You can just keep going back and forth and weaving it. I think I'll add a few more pearls. So don't worry if you get confused. I do regularly. Okay, so now that can go through the black lava bead. And the same over here. You can see I've got that space, that empty space. And notice I'm keeping a hand on this so that I keep track, and I'm leaving that bead on there so that I keep track of my pattern. But you know, if you don't and you get confused, this isn't really a specific pattern, so all is not lost. It will probably look just fine. And that's really what we're after in the end, is how does it look? Does it look interesting and balanced to you? Do you like the composition? Do you like how it came out? Well, then that's all you need, right? Okay, and now back through this bead. And you just keep going until you're pleased with it. I think I want to add a little bit more. I'm not going to make this section very long because I think it's so busy that it doesn't need to be effective. Okay, now that I have that on, I'll grab another lava bead and pick one of these over here to go through it. I think I'll do one more over here and call it good. One last lava bead, one more of the other strands. And that's kind of cool, don't you think? I'm just going to add a few of my small crystals and pearls on these ends, and then I'll show you how to finish the ends. Okay, so you see here I've added some of the smaller beads to each of the 6 ends of wire, and now it's time to finish off our wires. I'm going to use crimps and crimp covers, and I separated out the round portion, the loop portion of 2 toggle bars. I have a Friday Findings video that tells you about different ways to use toggle clasps, and this is yet another. I'm not going to use wire protectors today. I usually do, but first of all, there really isn't room in this little loop for 3 wire protectors. And also, this is a closed loop, it's soldered closed, so I'm not really worried about the wire being abraded. So to finish this off, find your longest strand, and you want to start with that one, and then slide on a crimp, slide it through the loop portion of your toggle, the small loop, go back through the crimp, and you can leave a little space there. It doesn't have to be real close. Make sure your wires are going through your crimp nice and flat next to each other, and then take a pair of chain nose pliers and flatten that crimp. Give it a good squeeze, give it a tug, make sure it's secure, and use wire cutters to cut away that extra wire. And then use crimping pliers to pick up a crimp cover. Slide it right over and squeeze gently to cover that crimp. Now we're going to have 3 little beads here, so I'm going to actually put one closer and one further down so that they won't be knocking into each other. So I'll grab the next one, slide on a crimp, slide it through the loop, back through the crimp. See what I mean? I'm going to leave this down here. And the wonderful thing about crimp covers is they just look like little beads on your strand. So just a couple more random little beads. Normally we wouldn't leave a loop of wire like that, but since the wire is exposed through the whole project, and it's all kind of loosey-goosey, that'll be just fine. And then repeat to add your third strand, and repeat to add a toggle on the other side. Okay, there. So we have all of our strands put together, and now it's just a matter of finishing. And I'm going to use some of this suede cord. So just cut yourself a nice long piece, maybe about 2 feet long, fold it in half, put the two ends through one of your toggles, and then put those through the loop and pull. On this side, I'm just going to make a knot and tie on my clasp. I'm not going to do anything fancy here, just make an overhand knot. I'm going to put a shorter piece of leather on this other side because I'm going to add a piece of chain. Just poke it through the loop. And there you go. And tie it onto your chain. And there you have it, a very interesting way of using bead stringing wire and some funky beads. So here's another look at the necklace we made today. I hope you liked this project and that you'll give it a try. If you don't care for the crazy looking stick pearls, you could always just do this like I showed you at the beginning, just with some plain beads, making the wires weave in and out of themselves. You could add some crystals and get actually a very elegant look. If you like this video, please be sure to click subscribe so you see more like it. Also check out my blog, keepsakecrafts.net. And up on the screen are 2 more necklace making videos that you might enjoy. So thanks for watching. Happy creating. Bye-bye.